Hey, what up? My name is Justin. It's Saturday, July 16th. I'm going to make a video today that's going to help hopefully newer Turo hosts, maybe even established Turo hosts, with kind of a common question of what do I do to add to the fleet? What should I be looking at in terms of cars to purchase, used, new? Should I finance it? Should I buy it in cash? Get these questions a lot, and the whole purpose of me making this channel was to try to help out new Turo hosts. As when I was newer and starting out about a year ago now, crazy how time flies, I relied heavily on YouTubers and creators to kind of help answer the gaps and questions that I had in terms of reading through the terms of service, sure, for Turo and peer-to-peer car sharing. But there's kind of, every once in a while unanswered questions in there. This being a very popular one is, what should I be looking at as a Turo host in terms of adding to the fleet and increasing the number of cars? So with that, I'll get right into it instead of, the answers I see a lot of times when people ask this on social media would be, well, it depends on your market, good luck. It's like, okay, that's not super helpful. So hopefully this video will provide some context and some help for hosts looking to increase the fleet. Now, if more individualized help is needed than some of the general ideas that I'll be giving today, please feel free to reach out, comment on the video. Let me know your certain market or your certain question. I'm happy to try to help with those. Because all the answers that I give, I'll try to keep it general. But keep in mind, my personal bias may show, as I'm a host in Los Angeles, a lot of my personal renters come through LAX. I don't have a lot of local renters. That's, I think, partially because I've set my trip minimums to 2 days as opposed to trip minimums being 1 day. And I've heard on social media that a lot of the local renters do prefer those 1 day trips. So I'm coming into this video giving advice in that way with those biases. Hopefully I'm able to provide some helpful context for folks. This topic is something that hits close to home for me too as a Turo host, as I have 3 cars on the platform. One of them just got totaled, the Escape, which was unrelated to Turo. It was parked by my property on a major road, and a drunk driver slammed into it. So that car got totaled. So now I'm down to 2. And then the Mustang has that safety recall. I don't want to downplay safety recalls, but it's for the backup camera. And mine does function. Even if it didn't function, couldn't we turn around like it's 1999? Party like it's 1999? Turn around like it's 1999 and see behind us as we back up. We're waiting until that safety recall clears to repost the Mustang on Turo. So for now, I just have the 1 car on the platform, the Chevy Volt. So I am actually looking at increasing my fleet on the platform. So hopefully you'll kind of see my thought process with what I'm looking at, and maybe some advice for your fleet as well. So what you want to think of when you're trying to add to your Turo fleet is what market you're in, what current Turo hosts are offering in your market, and where are there possible gaps. For example, let's say you are in a town where no hosts for Turo have Jeep Wranglers. That market is almost like a cult following. Like, Jeep people love Jeeps. So if they're traveling to your town and they see that the only option for their Jeep Wrangler that they want to drive is your Jeep Wrangler, then I think you're going to be doing really well for business if your market supports people traveling to your city. Now, let's say your city is close to a major airport but isn't at a major airport. I'm a good example of this. I live in the San Fernando Valley area of Los Angeles, which is at best a 30-minute drive to LAX, sometimes as long as an hour. So maybe you live in a small town in Georgia and you're 30 minutes to an hour away from the busiest airport in America, which is Atlanta's airport. Then maybe some of the feedback that I kind of have for setting up the trip and delivery fee to the airport. All of that stuff will make a difference. So for me, I see another key factor besides understanding your market is understanding your own offerings, and you want to diversify those. For example, let's say you're an established Turo host and you have all sorts of convertibles available. And you're like, maybe I should add another convertible, or maybe I should add an economy SUV like a RAV4 or something. To me, the better option in that specific scenario might be the RAV4, only because maybe in the winter months your travel will go down far enough with the convertible business that you do want to be able to diversify your rental portfolio. So you want to keep in mind your market and what your current offerings are. I think you also want to keep in mind, what kind of car do you want to drive? Let's say, for example, and this is the calculation I do for my Turo cars. Let's say, for example, that your car is booked 20 days out of the month. That means, depending on leap year, depending on what month it is, whatever, you have like 8 to 11 days of the month that you could possibly be driving this car. Please consult a tax professional on questions like this, but it's still a business vehicle if you're using it half the time or more, is my understanding of the tax code. But again, I'm not a CPA, so please ask them that kind of question. So let's say, like me, I would love to have like a Tesla Model X just because I think they're awesome. The Falcon wing doors where they open vertically in the back. I would love to like rent that out 20 days a month, and then the other like 8 to 11 days of the month be able to drive that as my personal vehicle. So if we're keeping in mind the marketplace that we're in, diversifying our own offerings and what kind of vehicle that we do want to drive, another good thing to keep in mind is, what are the posting limitations of the Turo platform? And this is where it's so important to read the Turo terms of service. Now, they change this all the time, so please like read the Turo terms of service and verify what I'm saying. But there's a certain amount of age of the vehicle and how many miles that you can post on the platform and be covered by Turo protection plans. I think last time I checked, it was 12 years and 100,000 miles. Don't quote me on that, please. Don't come for me in the comments. I'm asking you to verify it because they do change it all the time. And each new model year that comes out, that's going to shift what the oldest car is available that you can post on the platform. Now, I think that the newer car that you provide, the more safer it's going to be. More safer. And the better convenience features it's going to have. Like, for example, in hot weather climates, cooled and ventilated seats are, like, for me, a must have when I look at cars, and it's definitely something that I look for. Maybe it's important for people to have like kind of Bluetooth connection, and older cars may not have that. So it's important to keep in mind like your marketplace for that reason. What type of renter are you looking at? Are you in a lower income area or a higher income area? What kind of renters do you want to attract? Do you want to have 4 really affordable cars, or do you want to have 1 super fancy car? Keep in mind, if you got, there's positives and negatives to both. If you have 1 super fancy car, maybe you're able to charge a higher per day rate, but maybe your loan payment's higher, maybe insurance is higher, and then maybe every single oil change, tire change, and replacement part is more expensive. Whereas if you have the 4 cheaper cars, maybe replacing tires, oil changes, and parts aren't as expensive. Maybe renters kind of look at that as a less valuable asset, so they take care of it less. I don't know that answer. That's why for me, with my next purchase, I'm kind of looking at hopefully the best of both worlds, where we have to keep in mind the economic conditions we're into, where we're approaching a recession possibly. I think a good, affordable, recession-proof vehicle might be like an economy sedan. What I'm seeing in the used car price market and the new car price market is, for example, a Toyota Corolla. You can get one lightly used for 2 years. That's 20,000 miles for, let's call it $23,000, or you can get a new one for $23,000. So like, it's kind of things like that where you just have to kind of do your research, see what's available. Am I paying all cash for this? Am I taking out a loan for this? Make sure you're using any potential loan payments plus vehicle depreciation cost plus insurance. Keep in mind all the expenses when you do your calculations of possible profit and loss on the vehicle. I've found a good way to estimate that is the 20-day rule, with an average of what other hosts in the area are charging on a high to low basis with cars that actually have trips. If a car has no trips on the platform, then maybe it's priced incorrectly for the market. Maybe it's a little too high. Maybe it's a new listing. But if you see a trip count of like 100 on a car at $50 per day, and you see a trip count of 10 at $70 a day, and it's both for the same year of car, then maybe that's telling you something about how you should be planning your budget for that particular vehicle. I feel like that topic alone could be its own 10-minute video, kind of how to set up the budget for Turo vehicles. So in conclusion, here's what I'm thinking with adding to Turo fleets. What market am I in? What are my current offerings? Am I paying for the vehicle in cash? Am I taking out a loan? What kind of a car do I want to drive as my personal vehicle? I think that's important to keep in mind. What is not offered in the marketplace already? I think if we're keeping those things in mind, I think there's always a risk in business, but we want to try to mitigate that risk by taking some steps and trying to see which vehicles might work for us. So with that, I mean, that's kind of how I look at Turo fleets and adding cars there. The rest of the day, I'll be at a boat party for my buddy Brendan's birthday. Happy birthday, Brendan. How did that get there? I think if you're able to comment any questions on this video that maybe some I didn't cover, or maybe even a topic that you'd like to see me cover, happy to try to answer questions. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any important updates. Please like the video if you saw some value in what I was saying today. And with that, I hope everybody has a great weekend and see you guys very soon.